Hey Zach, good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Hey, Fred. I gotta get Fred down. He's gonna be in the way today. Come on, buddy. You gotta get down. You can't be up here. All right. Goofy cat. So we're just getting started here, and I want to say thank you to my wonderful sponsors and channel friends and family. We're going to be doing something kind of interesting today with the Tone Master Pro. I'm going to turn these backing tracks down just a little bit. And talk a little bit just while we get started here. Again, I hope everybody's having a really wonderful holiday season. And hope everybody's having a great Sunday. Kind of give you something interesting to watch for a few minutes. So today, the premise of the show is to kind of run through a collection of amps that I currently own, and if you'd like what you could do maybe while I'm streaming, and I know very few people will see this part of the stream, because it just started, but go ahead and when I select an amplifier to play through, go ahead and do a Google or whatever kind of witchcraft search you might choose to do, and write down the value of the amplifier as it's sold. Let's just choose so we can be somewhat consistent. Let's just choose some of these amps aren't even going to be available, so I guess just go ahead and go for the lowest price you can find, and we'll go through these amps. So remember to do that. I won't have time to do that today while I'm playing and hosting the show. Also, if you would like to become a guest on my show, just put a comment up, and we'll bring you on into, obviously I'm using StreamYard because it's such a free program and doesn't have limits on the time I can be on here, which is really cool. I did buy the advanced version of it, but I wasn't using it enough to justify the expense, so I've kind of stopped. And I've sent a couple of invitations out for guests who might want to join in on the fun. So I may have some folks popping in. I just don't know. This is my, you can see right now. Hey, Charlie. Let's see. Yeah, here's my track, my tracks. And I think what I want to do here, I'm going to close this window. It's just so that I have the software that comes with a Fender Tone Master Pro. It's great to see you guys. Charlie, it was cool to watch your video for a while today. I had to take care of some home stuff, so I couldn't watch the whole thing, but it's great to say hello. And again, I really appreciate you sending me a note once in a while. It means a lot. So, again, what we're going to do today, the premise of the show is to, on this screen, where you can see my mouse. And you know, I think today what I'm going to do, I'm going to change my mouse. I'm going to make my mouse a whole lot bigger. Let's go additional mouse settings. Visibility, pointer size and color. I'm gonna make it nice and bright green, and I'm gonna make it like bigger. Okay, I just did that. So now over here, you should be able to see my mouse in a much bigger size, maybe. Oh, it doesn't appear bigger to you. Well, that's all right. We're gonna be changing small penis driving down the street. Just be aware, there are many small penises out there. Hey, man. Oh, Zach, that's good to hear. I'm gonna play some today, I promise. I may even break out an acoustic guitar just out of respect for those who play a lot of acoustic guitar. I've done a lot of that in my life. So unfortunately, the OBS doesn't recognize that my mouse is 10 times bigger than it was, which I'm not quite sure why, but that's fine. So again, I'm going to be scrolling through amps. So what I'm going to do, I'll just kind of, for example, right now I have a 59 Bassman, and I'll select a 59 Bassman custom, and we'll try that, and then I'll replace that with a Princeton, and then I'll replace that with a Princeton Reverb, and then I'll replace that with a Princeton Reverb. And what my goal here is to only use the amp for just a very short while, just a few seconds. And also, I have, I'm going to show you my my pedal board. I think this will do it. I have some controls. I have a distortion pedal that I can turn on and off. You'll see the pedal light up, and they don't align anymore. If you notice, if I step on this pedal, it takes just a brief second for the actual pedal video to show up on the pedal itself. That's a change that ToneMaster Pro kind of messed up on when they updated their firmware, and unfortunately it doesn't align. And then I have a reverb that I can turn on and off, and an overdrive, or I'm sorry, a echo. So I have delay here in Cayenne. I have the mod modulated, it's a small hall reverb, and then I have an overdrive in front of it. Right, very, very, very common pedals that so many people use on their amp and their pedal boards. So let's go here. So here's my pedal chain. All the pedals are on, and if I want any of them off, I can just turn them off. Right, and pretty cool how that works. I love that. Man, Zach, I am so happy to hear that you're feeling better, dude. It's really good to see you. I'm feeling great. I've got to check myself here. I'm still a cyborg. Blood glucose is just a little bit high right now, but we're not going to give myself any insulin because I got some insulin on board right now. So I'm doing good. I hope y'all are doing great. And today, I think what I'll do is I will use my my heavily modded Fender Stratocaster. And we'll just use this for most of the broadcast, but if you would like me to use a different guitar, just say so. I've got a Les Paul sitting here, and just ask me to play a different guitar. I'm fine, totally fine doing that. I want to say a big thank you to Bill for his help with keeping my channel moving forward, and his support. So let's go ahead and go to This is the Tone Master Pro software that you can use to edit this. I could change anything in here or add anything. I can remove this distortion pedal. Now, I want to make sure that I'm really clear on all this stuff, and that is that I've gone through and tried to make the amp volume, which I'm going to give you a little taste of it right now, and the overdrive volume is about the same, right? And I'm also going to do my best to play along with the backing track, because demoing an amplifier all by itself, you know, that's really cool and all, except for the fact that you have no idea what it's going to sound like with a band. And maybe you don't play in a band at all, and that's fine, but some of us still do. And I think that's the best way to tell how an amp's going to treat you in an actual live environment, which I've been through a lot with this one so far. And I'll definitely try and show you all some of my patches that I've used over the few months that I've had this thing. Right? And I do have a gate between my guitar and my microphone so that you don't have to listen to my guitar through the microphone while I'm playing. So if I say something and you can't hear me, I'll do my best to avoid that. Because if I'm playing my guitar and trying to talk at the same time, you're probably not going to be able to hear me real great. So let's just bring it up. Hopefully things are sounding good. If you hear anything that sounds funky, let me know. Okay. Pick a nice. Now I'm really not digging my my mouse right now, so I'm gonna switch that back. Let me change my mouse size one more time because it's not changing it on the side. I have no idea why it won't change it on the. Let me double check that. Nah, it's just showing my mouse like a dinky little thing. So, where is that? Where'd my settings go? Doggone it. Okay. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. Let's make the mouse back to mouse pointer size and color. I did make it nice and bright, but apparently it won't. It won't. Now we'll leave it there. That looks good. Okay, so let's begin to dive into some amps. We'll pull the amp up right here. This is a Princeton Reverb. We're going to replace it, and with ToneMaster Pro owners, we've probably been through the first four, and all of them immediately go to the EVH models down here, or the Marshalls, or stuff like that, because most guys are using this. I won't say all of them. I shouldn't generalize like that, but let's go to one of the most famous amplifiers in amp history. We're going to turn off our pedals and let's see what this thing sounds like. I'm using the bridge pickup. And yeah, that's sounding pretty nice. Now here's something I had to do. I had a little bit of latency, so we're going to turn the reverb completely off on this thing and listen to what the... I'm going to go to my tuner and we'll see how out of tune my guitar is. It's a little bit out right now. I was taking care of home business. Didn't take the time to tune up my guitar. And it has cooled off a little bit today. So my guitar's running a little bit sharp. Again, this is just a modified Strat. It's got humbuckers in it. And hang on, we got a guest popping in here. Give me just a moment, and we're gonna welcome a friend to the broadcast. Again, thanks for being here, Charlie and Zach. Oh, let's see what happens. Hey.
Hey.
How we doing today, man?
I'm hanging in there. Pulled an all-nighter packing last night, getting stuff ready to go.
All right. Nice. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. A little sore. little sore, a little tired.
Nice.
Overall, I'm feeling good. I'm looking forward to this move being over. I hate moving, but it's excited to not be. It's hard to not be excited about moving into my own space for the first time in almost 14 years.
Yeah, dude. And I'm really glad that you were able to get folks involved in the help.
Oh man, you yourself, it's you and my friends here in town instrumental in empowering me to be able to make this happen. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the help, because without that I wouldn't been able to pull it off. So
sure. Well, dude, I'm really glad, and it's exciting to see and to know that you're going to have your own place. And first of all, I want to have everybody. I'd like to welcome my. Hang on just a second. I'm working with the deal.
Buttons, man. It's always about the buttons.
Yeah, buttons and getting stuff to fit on a screen and all that. I want to welcome my good friend and very good friend. Everybody say hi to Richard, who is also known as the Falcro on YouTube. Be sure to go hit his channel up and subscribe to him.
Thank you.
Yeah. He Richard does some really fun stuff on YouTube. Wednesday nights are generally, is that still?
Yeah, after I get settled, it's good. I keep thinking about it. I miss doing it. I've missed doing them. I've had so much to do, and my friend going through surgery and doing all that, going to help, and it's just been. It was too hard to be two places, and I tried to get set up so I could have a portable station, and it turned into major. Where am I going to put it? How are we going to, well, we'll just not do it until January.
Yeah. So what's the official? What do you know? What's the official move-in date for you?
I'm hoping I sign papers tomorrow and start moving this week, but the latest it'll be is the 2nd. When I'll sign papers, pay all the deposit stuff off, and get keys. So,
Excellent.
but if they have time and they give it to me tomorrow, I got like a whole room of boxes out there that could start going around the corner.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You're doing it right, man. Get packed first.
Well,
Right?
the funny part about it is when I first started packing my OCD, all right, these are all screws and these are all screwdrivers and these are all, that's how I'm packing, right? I live in 100 square feet right now. This room is 100 square feet and I use all of them. I'm moving to a place that's 625 square feet. I have to touch everything I own because I don't know where anything goes. I mean, I know the bed goes in the bedroom. My desk will end up in the living room. That kind of stuff. But I mean, which is the silverware drawer? Where does the I don't know. Where do I put my pans? I don't know. I'm gonna keep them under there. I'm gonna hang them on the wall. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't had to make these decisions for a long time.
Well, the next big move will be acquiring some furniture.
My roommate actually gave me one of her couches, so I have an actual, like 2-seat love seat couch that's in there. It's in decent shape, so I will have a place to sit other than my office chair.
Right.
And then my friends in Tigard, of course, they bought me the $89 special. I love it. I love it so much. It's a 4-chair, little tiny table, kitchen table, fits in, I don't know, 3x4 or something. It's tiny.
It might fit in my kitchen.
It might fit in your kitchen. Probably with only 2 chairs though. The other 2 chairs are gonna have to go somewhere else.
That's so awesome. Yeah. Well, and then there's always dressers and all the. I mean, you got plenty of clothes. I don't ever fold anything. I just hang everything.
Yeah, everything I have except for underwear and socks gets hung up. T-shirts, pants, pajamas, literally everything is hung up except socks and underwear.
Right. Yeah, my socks and underwear just go. Every sock I own is black.
Yep.
I can't lose one. And they're all identical. And every pair of underwear that I don't wear, I just throw in the drawer with it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Folding shirts always puzzled me. Why would you?
I don't understand. Although I do like to watch those Japanese ladies that do that. That's origami shirt shit. Pretty damn cool.
Nice. Well, dude, today the premise of my live stream is to do a little bit of amp comparison.
Oh, fun.
I mean, I own and this is something I kind of mentioned earlier, but as I go through these amplifiers, go ahead and Google search how much the one that I'm playing through is worth, and then add it up at the end of the stream, and let's see how many dollars worth of amps I've played through.
Are these your neurals or your physicals?
No, these are my actual TMP, the Tone Master Pro.
The Tone Master Pro one
that I purchased from Fender. So
yeah, okay. Oh, these are the amp package sims that go with your board.
Yeah, here's the amp that I got. Right. Let me see if I do this. I don't know if I can do a side. Can I do it? Yeah, there we go. So we'll leave you visible in there so people can see your reaction or. So that's a deluxe reverb I just kind of started with, and I'm using my classic Fender Strat that I play all the time. It's got humbuckers in it, and if you'd like me to change something on it, like say use single coil pickups, I'd love to hear it with single coils. I can pull a button, and I'm now single coils with the classic single coil buzz.
Nice.
Hear that?
Yeah, I
Buzz
can.
gone. Buzz, single coil, right? And classic strat tone, and then the dreaded bridge pickup position, right? And then the dreaded humbuckers. So there's quite a bit of difference. But if you'd like to hear one or the other, just say so or type me a comment. I'm kind of keeping an eye on stuff up here as best I can. And I'm happy to answer questions. I know a lot about this device and a few others, like, neural DSP.
A few others. Yeah. a thing or two or 10 or 3.
Yes.
Man.
Now, I also need to add, just to make everyone aware who might be here, I do use this as a live guitar rig. So I don't have my TMP sitting on my desk pushing buttons with my fingers, because that's not what this thing was built for. It was built for stepping on the pedals. And I mean, ultimately, the design of it is thus that you can use it for an actual guitar rig and in a live band situation. So I set mine up that way, and I do have a camera on it right there.
Nice.
And I can turn on pedals as I want and turn them off as I don't want. I've got an overdrive, a reverb, and a delay. And right, I can also tap tempos in if I want. Now, one thing I do need to do real quick, let me show you my, where is it? Here it is. What I need to do right now is go to this, and I want to, let's see. Oh, that's what I did. Okay, so I've got quarter notes on the left, and I'm going to put dotted quarter notes on the right. Okay, so typical. Right, so now we've got a little bit of a stereo field when the delay is on, and it is a stereo reverb. All right, let me check my tuning one more time. Was that just me, or I might have hit that chord a little wonky? There we go. There, I heard something now. Okay, so there we go. All right, so I currently have a deluxe reverb, but we're just gonna go ahead and just move on. 65 deluxe reverb, amp only. I'm not going to use any of the amp only. I'm going to use the combos. I don't want to have to bypass the cab IR. So let's go to the blonde deluxe reverb, and it does have a little bit of reverb on it. So I'm going to make sure my really nice. That's a nice tone.
Yeah, it is. Sounds really good.
There's a reason deluxe amps are so famously popular.
You know, it's crazy how much this looks like. I know it's a little bit off subject, but I just pulled my old Mustang 2 out from back and set it out with the stuff to go over to the apartment. It's amazing how much this interface looks like the interface of the old Mustang 2. I mean, that's 10, 15 years ago when that amp came out, and the graphics, it amazes me that they're still as current, still look as good as they did then.
Yeah. Well, this thing,
I am not comparing this to my Mustang 2, okay? We're not doing that here.
I got you. Well, they've done a really great job in capturing what a 65 deluxe reverb would have looked like in 1965, and that's why we buy guitars, because they look pretty, right? So let's start with just the deluxe reverb, and I am going to give it just a run with the settings the way they are, and I'm going to play along with the backing track. Now, I'm going to try and keep the backing tracks for cleaner style amps to cleaner style backing tracks. And I don't want to play for very long with each one. So let's get this underway, and I'm going to go ahead and push play, and I'm play this amp. I have changed nothing on the amplifier as it comes stock from the default settings in the Tone Master Pro. So let's see what happens. Okay, and I've played along with this backing track before. Nice. So, that amp is sounding pretty nice.
Nice and clean. That was good
Yeah.
tone. I really enjoyed that jam.
Yeah, and I'm not using. I'm using the amp just as it is. And I'm gonna try to just stick with the amps. But if a backing track, if I happen to pull up a backing track that's got a little more rock or needs some distortion, I will add that. And I also want folks to see how ultimately the amplifier takes pedals. Now, I'm curious if anybody did a search on how much a 65 Deluxe Reverb is selling for right now. Don't tell me. Just write it down yourself, and
Done.
we'll see how many dollars worth of amplifiers I'm about to play through. We're going to replace this with the very next one, which is a Super Reverb. Let's do a 65 Super Reverb, right? So, totally different amplifier. It's got some reverb on it. Now, here's another thing that I should probably do, and so I'm going to go ahead and do this with this today, but I am going to use single coil pickups in this Strat. I'm just from here forward, I'm going to use single coils just to have that true Fender lineup ultimately. So that you're hearing an actual Fender Stratocaster. No, these are not Fender pickups, but they are DiMarzios that are coil tapped right now. So,
Yep.
we
On
can
your
go
pricing models, Marshall?
say again?
I said on the pricing models,
Yeah, yeah,
like for the deluxe reverb that we just looked at,
yeah.
or that we just heard you play through.
Uh-huh.
There's a reissue on that. You are talking about the price for the original, to buy an original reverb, not
Here. Yeah, here's what Fender says: is that these are models of the actual original amplifiers. They
okay. So yeah,
they
it would be the original 65.
Yeah, so do the
Okay.
math on that.
All right.
We'll just keep it
Yeah,
to
it's a
what
lot of
the,
math. So I'm gonna be quiet and let you do your thing now.
Yeah, what you'll notice is on the screen it'll show 65, like on this one, 65 Super Reverb. Just look for a 1965 Super Reverb and see what you can buy one for, if you can even buy one of that era, right? Kind of fun. And I'm just gonna start where I left off and play a little bit of solo. I did use a little bit of the tremolo on that last one. And I'm leaving the bright switch alone. I think, yeah, you can turn the bright switch on. I'm just going to go with default. I want to keep this simple, right? Right on.
Yeah, sounding good.
Yes, that one feels really nice to play through. Now, I've gone to using single coils versus what I used on the deluxe reverb. So my guitar head, definitely the volume has come down a little bit, but that's another thing that I'm kind of looking for, is how well balanced the volumes are from these default amplifiers in this thing. To kind of share with folks that they may have to make volume adjustments to these things if you're using multiple different amplifiers. It's a lot of work to get your volumes. Say you're playing in a band situation, you go from one song to another. You don't want the next song your guitar to be blaring loud, but the song before it was just perfect,
Right.
So there are definitely changes that you'll see. Now this is a 65 twin reverb, and I can click on that, and we're going to start right where we left off here. Let's see. Super clean. A little bit of reverb from the amp itself. So we're just to take off right here. Here we go. Okay, immediately, I'm going to pause this real quick. Let's go back. Let's see. Oh, and here's what, the other thing that I know I can do is that if I click on this, it will let me demo it. And right. And I think I went to this twin, and it was considerably quieter.
Oh yeah. Probably by a third. That's quite a bit lower.
Yeah, so again, you know, they've done a great job, but also I want to show you on here that the amp level is set to 28. And let's look at the, I'm sorry, I can go to these and just sample them. If I go to the super reverb, I actually have to click on it to see what the settings are. It's set at 46. So I'm not 100% certain why they have, again, Fender, this is something that you guys should probably pay close attention to. I'm not being super critical here, but if I find stuff like this, I think that the manufacturer should know that you're not, now you're making amps that are so different, vastly different in volume to switch from one to the other. Now, here's the deal. I'd also add that if you do the value of a 65 super reverb versus a what's the next one, a twin reverb, 65 twin reverb, if you could afford to buy both of those amplifiers, you'll have a tech setting this shit up for you at the show. So you're not going to be doing this yourself, and your stuff's going to be perfect. But Fender, it would be really great if there weren't these vast volume differences of these. You know, that would be a really wonderful, thoughtful thing to do.
It relates to my same complaint about movies. Why does the dialogue sound like this? But then the music comes on and it's like that. Can we just get a balance? Just a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, this is kind of the same.
That does not surprise me, Charlie. Okay. Charlie's flexing, saying he owned a reverb, so, you know.
Who did?
Charlie, he's flexing, owned a 65 reverb.
Yeah. Oh,
I can't believe he's flexing in the chat like that, bro. I mean,
that's a nice flex, though.
That's awesome, Charlie.
Yeah, Fender twin reverb were some of the first like real amps because of course, Charlie, you got maybe a couple years on me, but
sold it for $600. Ow.
Sold it.
Somebody got a deal. Whew.
Yeah. You could add a couple zeros to that probably.
Now you could easily add a couple zeros to that.
At least one.
At least one. Yeah. I've got the pricing things up.
This amp sounds really nice, though.
He still came out of it okay. Sorry, I'm interrupting you. He came out of it. He bought it for $300, so he doubled his money on it.
Oh, okay.
So this must have been a minute ago.
You're doing it.
Last week or something.
You're doing pretty good. Well, and this thing, this twin, which are very super famous for being used in jazz.
Yeah.
So you can turn them up as loud as they can go, and I will demonstrate this. This should not distort. Oh, it does a little bit.
Tiny bit.
Let me make sure I'm still, I'm playing the twin. Oops, the bright switch is on. Let's turn that off. Yeah, it does distort a little bit, but also it doesn't get a whole lot louder. I'm gonna go back to this. I'm gonna replace it, and I'm gonna select the twin reverb. again, so they have the volume set at 5.5. Really, I mean, it has a nice tone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn my ducking effect down a little bit on my voice, just to try, so I can speak a little bit more clearly.
It's not cutting you out too bad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be using any vocal effects or guitar. I'm just killing it a little bit, try and make this pick noise a little bit quieter in the room. All right, so there's a twin reverb, and it was definitely noticeably quieter, but that, you know, we can adjust that. We'll go for a bass breaker, low. Let's see what this sounds like. And again, I'm using single coil pickups. I think I can double click on that. It's a very simple bass breaker. And again, it's quieter than the twin.
Quite a bit quieter. I'm actually kind of surprised.
And the amp volume, you'll notice, is at 16%. So I'm just going to, for the sake of argument, I'm going to turn it up to about where they... now we're getting to a level that's reasonable to... Right? Now, here's the deal with the Tone Master Pro, just a little bit about this device, and that is that this amp level doesn't change the sound of the amp at all. In fact, we're at 37%. Now we're going to go back to 16% where it started. Just gets quieter almost to the point that you can't hear it. And at 100%, this is definitely going to get louder, but the tone of the amp doesn't change at all. According to Fender, which I'm feeling that right now. But this one again is a little bit quiet. But let's go ahead and take on a backing track just to play it with the band, just to see how this thing sounds. Okay. To make this a little bit louder, so I'm going to go ahead and go in here. I'm going to turn the volume up to 40. Still would like a little bit more. Now we're talking. Oops. Sounds a lot like a twin reverb. Or I'm sorry, a bass breaker. Just super clean, but again, it still has a lot of the properties of a twin. Let's replace this one. We'll go to a bass breaker medium. This might have a little more edge on it, I hope. And again, super quiet. They do have a noise gate. I'm going to bring this back up to about 42%. Let's try this with the backing track, see how this works. Now we're getting too loud. It's interesting. They got the master cranked on this one.
Yeah, they do.
So, yeah, let's bring this back down about halfway.
There you go.
I've added some delay. Feels really nice. Sounds really nice. Again, I've got the hum from the single coil pickups. You can hear that. I go to the second position here and the hum goes away. So they definitely, the amps 100% behave as if it was a real Fender amplifier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was a bass breaker. I played through. I don't know if they have them set up on this. Let's just call it one bass breaker. And I don't know what year that would have been available, but I think thus far I've probably played through enough amplifiers that I probably could buy 20 of the Tone Master Pro uh, pedals. I think. Here's a Blues Junior. These tend to have a little bit of grit to them. Sounds pretty nice. Sounds like a Fender Blues Junior. Um, let's see. I want to go down here. I'm going to change the backing track to something a little less familiar.
Nice track.
Make it fat. Not bad.
Nope.
Little funky background track. I really like that that amplifier. The Blues Juniors has a nice feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Of the amps you've used so far,
Yeah.
that's one of the most affordable in my research.
The Blues Junior, yeah.
The
I
Blues
think
Junior.
a brand new one. I mean, if you're they don't give an era of this one. Of
Yeah,
course.
they don't. I don't think that amp has changed much other than going from tube to solid state. I think that the overall design and what they wanted has been it. It's a Blues Junior.
Yeah. Whoops. You know, I got my guitar dimed right now. If I rolled my volume back, I could definitely get a little bit of more, a cleaner.
Yeah, but it was only a little dirty, I think, because you had it dimed. You were pushing it a little bit.
Yep. And I did engage the fat switch on that, so now I've got
That's true.
Not
oh,
a big,
that's way different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely adds some punch to it.
Mm-hmm.
Blues Juniors are typically like a 12-watt tube amp. I think they have one 6L6 in them, maybe, or I don't remember what the tube complement is, but 212 AX7s. So they're very low watt, not terribly loud.
Well, as we have discovered, for most instances, you don't need a lot of wattage on an amplifier. Like 1 is generally enough, and 5's a lot.
Yeah. And anymore, sound guys really don't like you walking in with a 50-watt Marshall. It's not necessary. Which is why I've gone to using the Tone Master Pro. Here's the Vibro King, and this is a really nice, clean sounding amp.
Wow, I love the tone on that.
Yeah. And look at the controls. You can't get much more simple than this, right?
Nope.
You got a fat switch. And with the fat switch off, the fat switch kind of seems to add definitely adds a little bit of gain and some low end thickness to it. Let's try this one with a backing track, and we got our volume down here at 56, but this one seems to be about the same volume as the last one in my thoughts.
Yeah, I played with this track.
We'll make her fat. Not bad, man.
Not
Really
bad
nice.
at all. I dig that amp. I really do. That's
Yeah, and this is a 3x10 Vibra King, so it has three 10-inch speakers, which is kind of an odd pairing.
yeah, it is. It's usually either one or two,
Yeah,
or sometimes
right.
four for the big
Right.
ones, big boys.
Yeah, which would make the ohm load on that kind of odd, but this is definitely a popular model from Fender.
Yeah. Big price swing on that particular model. Big price swings on that particular model.
They're very inexpensive to very expensive.
Yeah, it depends on really condition and of course age. You know, the older amplifiers are bringing more money, but this particular one, you can find these $500-600 in reasonably good shape.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hey, Hugh.
Nice. Hugh, Mr. Caldwell, hello. Yeah, we're just rolling through some amps today. So we're moving out of the Fender style amps that they've started everything off with to a UK30, which would be a what? Somebody tell me. Come on.
Vox, right?
Yeah, indeed. Let's hear this one. The amp level down at the bottom is set at 30%. Boy, that feels like a Vox. Wow. Now, also, I want to add to this that I have played through a lot of the amplifiers, the actual amplifiers that are shared on the Tone Master Pro. So I've actually played through this amp and a Vibra King and a Blues Junior and a Fender Twin. Maybe not a 65, but I have played through one in that era. So I've played through a lot of these amps. So I do know what they feel like and how they sound or how they're supposed to sound. Many of them, but there are still many that I haven't. Just so that my, let's see, any of my comments can be taken pretty seriously. When I say this sounds like an AC30 and a brilliant one, it does, definitely. I mean, and what I could do with this amplifier is dime it and put a treble boost in front of it, and I could try and sound like Brian May, but let's see how this one handles playing with a mix. And again, I'm not using much. One other thing I wanted to do before I get any further, I want to go into this Memory Man, and I want to turn the mix down considerably. It's a little bit too loud. I'm just gonna save this just so I don't lose my settings, and we'll go to the box and play through it for a moment. Same backing track. Okay, yeah. Sounds like a box.
I got a stupid question.
Yes.
Because I don't know shit about amplifiers. As I'm looking across those incredibly complicated controls, that final control where it says cut, is that a notch filter, like a tone notch filter?
Well, let's turn some knobs and see what it does. So I'm just gonna play a open A chord, right? And I'm gonna turn the cut all the way up. Notice what's missing?
Treble.
Treble. That is a treble cut. And it's and if I turn it all the way the opposite direction, that's that chiminess that or the Vox sizzle that Hugh brought up. And those coupled with the single coil pickups in this guitar really makes this thing have that sizzle and that chime, that bright. And they had the cut, I think, set to
somewhere
right
in the lower third,
yeah,
somewhere in that range.
Which really definitely helps, I think, the amp a little bit. But this is how they were. That's what they did. They had a treble.
Well, yeah, it's what they did, and like I said, just reading it, I was thinking it was a notch filter. It kind of is. It is a filter, but it's not an adjustable notch filter. It just removes treble. It doesn't add anything else.
Yeah, it basically is like a low pass.
Yeah.
Is it a low pass filter? Yeah, it removes some of the treble.
It removes some of the high tones. That's really cool.
And then the UK30, the same amp, but we'll call it normal. Geesh, look at how hard this one is.
I can't use that amplifier. It's got way too many buttons.
I mean, it sounds almost identical.
Yeah, it does. There's not a lot of difference between those two.
It does have a little where the volume is at, and definitely this is a lower watt. I believe the normals were a lower wattage amp. No, this is still a 30 watt amp, but you'll notice they have the volume set down here at 18. So I think we could do a nice balance of volume and bring this up to about 30% or ish.
Yeah,
and probably get
enough.
Almost the exact same.
This ain't science.
Yep, it's got that.
I like it.
Fun little amplifier.
Yeah.
But let's play this one with the backing track real quick, and then I'll switch the backing track to this. I'm with that one. I'm definitely having to dig in and hit the strings a lot harder than I'd like to, and that's just a matter of the. Yeah, you can hear me like smacking them. I think that's just a matter of turning the overall volume. If I brought this up here, let's try that just to see. And again, the discrepancies in the volumes between each one of these amplifiers is something that I wish Fender had done when they did the update, when they set these amps up to get them
line in level would have been nice for all of them, and they all start at the same point.
But. Yeah, that would have been a great feature to offer. But I just brought the amp up, and let me see how it feels now, because a lot of this y'all can't really won't really grasp, because the amps, each one of these feels quite different under my hands, and some of them make me want to play a little bit faster and dig in a little bit more with my pick, and others I want to be real soft. The twin reverb, definitely a soft touch, really makes that thing sing. But I've just brought the volume up on this amp. Let's try this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right in with the mix now.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So again, but these are all totally editable. I'm not I'm not griping too much, but it would be nice if Fender. My big critique is that if Fender had balanced the volumes of all of these amplifiers when they did this. Marksman
Probably
Channel
only a
One.
sound guy would make that observation. Most people using this amplifier sim would not even make that connection between the recording level of the original sim and what you're hearing when you just turn it on.
Yeah. Well, and I would think that if you were at a gig and you're switching through these amplifiers and you're getting these massive volume differences like we're experiencing. I mean, literally right now we're hearing 6 decibels. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
that's unacceptable at a gig unless you know it's seldom that you need to move your volume if you're playing in a band and you're playing guitar, unless it's a super dynamic part in a song and you need to get super quiet. You have a volume knob on your guitar, so you can do that unless you're running through a super high gain amp and all of that. But um, definitely an engineer would definitely go up and say, hey, when your amp channels are switching, uh, we need to you need to balance that stuff out. A thoughtful sound engineer would say that to a guitar player, and guitar players wouldn't do this. They would definitely have their volumes balanced, I would guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, um, grab a different pick. I've rounded that one off to,
Yep, my
to
red one's finally getting round. I've kept that one long enough now that it's finally
yeah.
starting to get rounded.
Yeah, so here we have a Mesa Boogie Mark V. Right? And these are definitely very. Now, something I want you to notice is that the picture in the signal chain above the amplifier that's down in the bottom, that I can adjust these settings. The EQ is backwards on the amp in the picture than it is in the in the amp that we
Oh,
can adjust.
whoops.
Uh, so yeah, oops. So let me see. These are famously used. GEQ is on, bright, off, treble shift, bass shift, deep. So we don't have. I don't believe we have the high gain version of this Mark V amp in here because typically they have an overdrive master uh, channel on these Mark Fives. Although we can, I'm just going to play it as it comes from the factory, and the amp level is at 27%. I'm going to use this amp for one more this backing track, and then we'll move on to the backing track. Yeah, Mark V, pretty cool amps, man. And these things are often, identified with bands like Metallica, although they're
Right.
they're a Mark II. Um, That's with some overdrive turned on. You can see the overdrive on and off in that top. Oh, and I'll use a little bit of overdrive with this one just to try it. That feels really nice. With the overdrive, I really dig that one. But again, gives a little volume boost and gives it a bit of some crunch that I really enjoy. But that one feels nice. Um, Yeah, and let's go to the back side of this because I really given it's a Mark V, I want to see if we can trick it. Turn the bright off, turn the treble shift. Let's try the bass shift. That definitely boosted some volume for sure. And then let's try this deep setting. Wow. Boy, there's some low end. I like it. Met a guy who was an amp builder looking to achieve 1 true watt. Very cool. Yeah, 1 watt amps are they're smart amps. They're loud enough. 1 watt is definitely loud enough. If you got a good PA system, it can get you some really great tone. So the Mark V, pretty standard. I don't know if we can make this thing get creepy and overdriven here. I'm gonna turn off my. Yeah, difficult to if I die my definitely gets louder, but very clean amplifier. So don't expect every Mesa boogie to get dark or pissed off like some of them can. Now, the Jazz Chorus, one of the cleanest amps ever made, if not the cleanest amp. Now this one should be one that I can dime this volume and not have any distortion at all, not get any grit, no so again, very definitely used in the jazz world a lot. Jazz chorus. Let's go to a different backing track and see what we can. So, pretty good backing track to play along with the jazz.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely has classic jazz chorus. I have played through a few jazz chorus. Now, the one thing that this amp is missing is the actual chorus effect, which is not available on here aside from adding a foot pedal to the amplifier, which we could.
You think this is the 30 or the 40 watt version of this? There's a 120 watt version too, but I don't think that's what they're doing here.
I can't.
I'll just pick the 40. It's going to be in the ballpark anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. They're probably the 120 watt ones, I think, are obviously the most expensive versions of the JC. Just because they have they are loud.
Good looking amplifiers. Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, Hughes hit the nail on the head. I was literally just going to say that, but definitely solid state. These are solid state amps. You can't overdrive them without putting a distortion pedal in front of it. They will not break up. I mean, I guess, if I use my humbuckers and go to my bridge pickup, I might be able to.
Not really.
I can't really hit it any harder than that. And it gets loud.
Loud, but not distorted.
Yeah. And with these jazz chorus amps, that's one thing I will say is I've gone in and watched guys playing through them, and these guys are always that guitar player. You know what I'm saying, and that's all I'm gonna say. After having said that these amps are loud, they are stupid loud. So anyway, and they're
Well,
only
hell,
a
my
two.
Marshall JTM was insanely loud. You turn that thing up to 5, and you're breaking windows somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. The 120 watt jazz chorus is a no
I
different,
can't
man.
imagine. It'd be no joke.
Yeah, go to a blues festival, you'll see somebody using it, and you'll learn how loud an amplifier can actually be. And it's a 212, mind you. It's not a 412. You can plug them into a 412, of course, and do that. But
Right.
so let's move on. The jazz chorus. For clean amps, the jazz chorus is uh, I don't know. It's one of the most famous clean amps ever made, used on countless records for clean guitar tones. Let's go to the bass breaker. Here's a classic, very classic bass breaker with V30, and I'm not messing with the cab IRs at all on these things, so we'll just see what they do. This is just a stock setting. Now we got some
twangy.
grit.
Yeah, gritty and twangy.
Now we got some dirt, which I'm really happy about because I prefer a little bit of dirt.
You're just a dirty boy, Marshall.
Oh,
that's good.
Yeah, this is a
breaks
nice
up
tone.
just enough. Just
Yeah.
super nice.
Yeah, and we've got some gain left, so we could probably make this amp sound pretty angry. And we'll just kick the bright switch.
Ooh, wow, boy,
Yeah.
that brightened it up.
Yeah, you want to cut. Let's play along with a backing track so we can hear what that bright switch actually does. It'll push me right over the cymbals. I guarantee it. Let's see.
Oh wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Now see, with the backing track, I like the bright. Without the backing track,
Yep. Classic. That's why it's kind of funny to watch guys do demos of amps. And this sounds great. Yeah, it does sound great. Play it with something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just
Little
playing by
versatility
yourself
in
all
there.
the time, by all means, just play it by itself because it sounds good to you, and that's great. But if you're playing live, you've got to test these things out. I mean, my humble opinion is that you've got to test these things out. Here is a very, very famous amplifier, and check out what a 1969 Fender Marshall Plexi.
Fender.
That was a Freudian slip in
Yes, it was.
about as Freudian as I could get.
Oh man.
Let me go down here, and I'm going to grab some different backing tracks. Let's see which ones I've got here to play a Plexi.
Now, what series Marshall is this modeled after?
This is a 1969 Marshall Plexi. It
Plexi.
would be the amplifier that a little guy named Angus Young and countless other guitar players play through. And we'll give it. Now again, I've got single coil set up because we're trying to stay true to Fender. Right? Now, let's get real.
Boy.
Are you convinced?
Damn.
Uh-huh. Here's how a lot of Plexis, I believe, if I'm right, are set up. They kind of dime everything but the treble, including the volume. And some of them, no, this is 69, I believe. And I'm going to bring the presents back because these tend to be really bright, but AC/DC. Let's see. Let's go to humbuckers. I'm not playing that great. Right?
Yeah, but the tone's right. You can tell that.
Yep. And we may be missing some treble, but
some treble
again,
maybe.
A bit too much gain, but we this is an amp model. There we go. And I can grab the old SG off the wall, yeah, and play through it.
Do it right.
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna switch this amp. I'm gonna switch it. I'm gonna replace it back with the bass breaker, and then I'm gonna go back to the British Plexi. This is where they have it set from the factory, and let's play along with this backing track and just see how she works. Very, very famous amplifier. Okay, now I'm going to add some delay to this. Now I'm going back to single coils just to stay true to the experiment we're running. So I'm going to add some overdrive. Okay. Oops. Okay. Nice. This thing sounds. Now I can
great.
honestly say, boy, yeah. This is a one killer sounding amp. Now I can honestly say I've never actually played through a Marshall Plexi. Not many people alive really have. If you comparatively think about, how many twin reverbs dudes have played through. Marshall Plexis, again, they've all been bought up by all of the rich guitar players of the world, and most of us will never have an opportunity to play through one. So just I definitely make that point. And here is a British 800, which the famous JCM 800. And the famous JCM 800 is notably done, well, this one has a master volume. So we'll bring that back to 50%, but this is how most people set up a JCM 800. Here's Kiss. And again, they have the amp level down here set really low. But again, I'm going to go back. I just want to go back to the factory preset. I don't remember. We'll go here. We'll go back to here.
Anybody else playing along and keeping track of money on this? I'd like to see what the numbers were when we're all done. I know where I'm at. I just added them all up to where we are right now.
Are we at 6 digits yet?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite, but it's getting close.
Yeah. Okay. So here's a JCM 800, and I have to admit that I own a Marshall JCM 800 that I haven't played for many, many years because it's way too loud. It's a 50-watt version, and mine looks just like this, only it does not have a master volume. It just has a volume knob on it. So, and those basically what I did earlier, just turn everything up to 10, and that's how you get them to sound good. But you have to be able to deal with 110 dB of volume hitting you in your ear. It's brutal. Um, but they sound fantastic. Now this one, I've gone to no, here I am still at single coils and kind of bassy. Let's see how this sounds with this. I'm gonna try a different backing track now. Here we go. Oh, that was the same one. I don't know what happened here. Like my backing track. Okay, nice, sad, slow. So definitely the amp's not loud enough.
Now, is this one where that recording level might be affecting when they made the sim? The amp level, yeah.
Amp level, I'm gonna bring this up to 40% roughly.
Yeah, there
Seems
we go.
like
Yeah,
right around 40% is where all the amps seem to start to shine a little bit.
Oh, that's way better. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, my amp volume was probably set from the factory a little bit low, but it feels just like an 800. I mean, there's just now normally, and I did add some overdrive and some delay to that. Right, and I was using single coil pickups during that solo, but now I've got these humbuckers, so my amp volume has just jumped considerably just due to the
way more.
Yeah, yeah, which is fine. You know, these are the things. If you own one of these pedals, you've got to be able to deal with this hiccup in the system. The amps are not at all going to be the same volumes. Now, we're getting into some higher gain amplifiers down here, and we're not going to go through all of these today, but I think I'm going to go through this Jubilee lead tone because, and I'll just say for the record, let me go here. For the record, I use the British Jubilee Clean and the British Jubilee lead guitar amps on every single song that I play in my band. So those are literally the two amp heads that I use are coming up right now, which I'm very happy to be able to say that. So let me go back to this. All right, so we just played the British 800. We're gonna go to a Marshall British Jubilee Clean. And again, I'm going to stay with single coil pickups, and we'll just see what this thing...
Excuse me.
It's a real simple, super clean. And I believe on my clean tone on my amp, but we won't mess with this too much. Here it is at 3. My clean tone, I have it set up around 4. and treble master is pretty much there. I might have the master turned up a bit higher, and I think my other settings. Now, here's something again, right? Sounds pretty good, but I'm gonna go to my humbuckers and I'm gonna go to my bridge pickup. Right? Sounds pretty bright, but if we bring this treble up to let's just say 130, whew, it's so shearing ice pick bright.
Yeah.
So I bring that treble. I definitely bring mine back below the number 4 a couple of clicks, which seems to really help. It's still got nice and bright, but it doesn't have the gain that or that bright. So here we are back at their original settings, and let's find a different backing track here. No, probably a little bit heavy. Let's go back to this. We'll try this just to play along with. All right, so let's pause this right here. Again, fairly clean out, and it's a bit too quiet. I would like a little more volume out of the amplifier. Now, what I know that I have my master volume turned up a bit more than this, and I know I've added some bass frequencies to my patches in my band. In fact, but we'll get back to that. So let's good sounding amp, very dry, very clean. And here's a rhythm amp. They call it and you'll notice the gain is turned up considerably higher. The EQ is set exactly the same. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Randy Rhoads used the Jubilee series of Marshall amps when they were.
I believe you're correct.
And they had that cool white stuff. I think he's playing through them on that one very famous video. It's one of the only videos where you can actually see him play live, which I think they went back and unfortunately overdubbed some of his playing. Maybe wasn't perfect, and you can see that in the video. But nonetheless, we're going to try this one. So again, a very nice, simple sounding amplifier, and I think that's one of the things that I really love about this model of amp and why I'm using it in my band exclusively is the simplicity of this. I can take that and mold it into what I want. I can clean it up by lowering the gain or dirty it up by increasing the gain. And here we go, move on to the British Jubilee lead head. And you'll notice it's a lead head, and the gain is actually reduced versus um, the rhythm head. The treble is turned up a little bit. The middle is turned up. The frequencies are all turned up a little bit. But this one does have some. It's not chug life, but it's got some grit. And let's go back to the rhythm that they call the rhythm, Jubilee rhythm. Come on. Back to the lead. And I know that you can't feel the difference.
It's strange. Really, it's on the lead is grittier, but
yeah,
there's less gain.
It kind of is, yeah, and it feels again, the difference is the feel. And yeah, we're playing in my band. We're playing some really heavy music, but I didn't go to the EVH models. I didn't go to the Friedmans. I didn't go to the Ubershalls that are on here. I found that this amp, if you turn it up and you hit that thing hard with a set of humbuckers, which again, I'm only using single coil pickups right now with this amp, it doesn't have the same, drive into the amplifier. So, the guitar that you use will definitely help you make a decision on what amp you might use. Are we into 6 digits yet?
Yeah, we just, it depends on how you look at these. All this has come from Reverb for me, but you can look at it as being just shy of 6 digits or well over at this point, depending upon how good of a shopper you are and how lucky you are to have gotten on or not on a deal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of these amps are on the low end, $5,000-$6,000. There's a few out there, like the Vox was pretty affordable. The Blues Junior was pretty affordable. Those kind of are the hash marks you throw out when you're doing the average, But yeah, there's the Boogie. There was one guy wanted $12,000 for his Mesa Boogie Mark V, and another one that wanted $40,000, but it was some kind of a special edition, had special quilted fabric on the front, and the whole cabinet was more wood-like. It was a different animal. But yeah, so these things easily. If I took the high prices on all of them, I just want the best of the best. Yeah, this is 150, 170,000 in amplifiers. That's amplifiers and cabinets, and you're buying complete as though you were picking up a brand new amplifier.
Well, and also, these all of the amps that I've used today are stacks. They're not just heads.
Right.
So when you consider that you're buying a Mesa Boogie Mark V, let's just consider that one, which is a pretty valuable amp. We'll go back to that one and just look at it. Where are you? What's it called? The Marksman Channel 1. This is a combo amplifier, and it has a 112. So, you got to consider that also in the equation of the value. Because we can go to an amp head, and this is how I do it. I use the Marshall Jubilee lead head, and then I put a Mesa Boogie cabinet behind it. So, do the math. But here's the Jubilee lead head. Right, again, single coils. I would normally use humbuckers and playing through an amp like this, just because it's such a high gain amp. I don't want that noise.
So I bumped my microphone. Sorry.
No, I'm talking. I'm talking this noise that you can hear right now versus no noise.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. So with the humbuckers, and that's typically what guys would have played I mean, unless you're Jeff Beck, likely would have played. You're not going to hear a lot of guys playing through a Marshall Jubilee series head with a Strat and the bridge pickup. This is just, it is likely not going to happen. And also, these pickups are quieter because they are already, they're humbuckers, so there's still some noise cancellation with that. Okay.
Almost gets a horn quality to it when you're. That's really cool. Yeah.
I felt I gotta be honest, man. When I went through these, I'm gonna go back to our. When I went through these, I definitely I tried them all, and I was like, oh, they got an Ubershaw, and I tried it, and it was great, but it was just too high gain. Like, and I had outlined the settings that I use for the band that I play in. I didn't just, and I can probably pretty honestly say that I think there's been a couple of times at all that I've actually played any of the presets that came in the device. I would have much rather just bought it with nothing.
Yeah.
And I went through the amps and just played through the amps until I found one that I thought sounded great. And,
yep. Oh, hold on a sec.
Okay. So I think what I can do right now, I was just playing through the Jubilee Lead Series amp. I'm going to go to my main guitar rig and go to how I normally have my guitar set up, which is using humbuckers. And usually my volume is off. And my amp sounds like that, right? And it's astonishing. We can look at the British Lead series, and I have my gain set to there, my master set to there. I have no overdrives set up on this. Nothing. I'm just using. I can turn an overdrive on, and you can see it come on. And I can turn a chorus pedal on, or a phaser. Or I can use a wah pedal. I've got that, all that stuff. But here's my signal chain. Literally, I'm playing through the same Jubilee head that I was just playing through, but with some minor changes in the settings. Right?
That sounds so good.
And
it just went back to 1988 or 78. I mean, 88.
Yeah. Well, and also, I'm just kind of showing, what I got going here. And again, I've got the same speaker cabinet. However, each cabinet, I'm using a slightly different mic. On the left side, I'm using an R121 placed on the cone. And on the right, I'm using a SM57 placed directly on the cap edge, which is where that famously is used. And then I also have my stereo field developed with my delay pedal. So no, yes, I'm in stereo now.
Yep, 100%.
And I've got this amp dialed up to be like pissed off. Now, let's do this just for the sake of argument, because here's the deal. If I go to replace, here is my main dirt amp. I have saved this head so that no matter what I do, I can't lose it. Meaning, if I hit my main dirt and I go confirm, I'm not gonna, my tone isn't gonna, my tone isn't gonna change at all. But if I replace this with the Jubilee head, lead head, now I'm gonna, there ain't a whole lot of difference really. It's pretty much the same thing. Now, what I should add to this, I'm not 100% certain if I didn't save my preset into this one. Let's look at the settings on this amp. Gain, master, bass, and then let's go to my that I call my main dirt. See how far. Pretty much the same. So, I mean, there you go. So it doesn't take a lot to get a good tone for me.
And that sounds amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
that just, it just does.
It's a nice thick tone, and then again the clean channel. I can step on a pedal on my pedal board.
Yeah.
The clean channel is quieter dynamically. It's much quieter. Well, that's typically how clean amps go. So that's how my stuff is set up. And there are no overdrives or anything turning on. The only difference between my clean and dirty patch is right now with my clean channel, I've got a little bit of reverb, right? And you can probably hear it. It's real subtle. And if I go to my overdrive channel, the reverb is now off. So that's a big difference. So there's my presets compared to what Fender offers in their device, and I don't have to do too much. I don't know how far different my clean Jubilee is from the one that came with the device itself, but ran through a few amplifiers today.
Yeah, that was an interesting demonstration in sound alone, not to mention the history lesson, of rock amplifiers.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. And the what's really cool is that a guy can go out and spend some money on this device, and I am all for. There are definitely some flaws in it. I'm not gonna sit here and blow smoke up anybody's ass and say there isn't anything wrong. There are problems with it, but for a gigging musician, you can take that and your guitar to a gig and a guitar cable, and if they have a PA at the place, you will have your tone dialed in.
It's the size of an old cassette player. I mean,
yeah.
If you can date yourself like that, it's not very big at all. I was shocked how small it is.
No, it's about literally, if you put two of these things together, that's my entire pedal board.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not kidding. That's how small it is. So it's very convenient. It's made doing flight gigs so simple. If you've got to fly on an airplane, you can take your guitar and your amp, your entire guitar rig with you, and have it with you in the seat.
Yeah.
So definitely a device. But Fender, please shorten the amount of delay that we can achieve on these things to below 30 milliseconds. That would be a really well appreciated change. And the other thing that would be nice is to have the volumes of the amplifiers as their default setting all be pretty similar, so that when people are demoing these, they don't have to.
Clearly, there's going to be some. Clearly, there's going to be some differences between how amplifiers were built and the kind of sounds that they make. But for one to be at 28% and another one to be at 43%, right out of the chute, it doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
That seems like it should be able to be closer.
Yeah.
Just for bass level, not for sound. I'm not talking about the tone of the amp, but the sounds it'll allow you to make, just levels.
The default, you pick that amp, you want to play through it and try it out, and it's 10 decibels louder than the one that you just played through. That's instantly going to give you an opinion of it, because it's either too loud or way too quiet. So I think Fender would be very smart to get the volumes levels
I'd agree with that.
set to default to be a certain decibel level. And that's just a matter of going through and setting the amp volumes in your presets, so that every one of them, set one as quiet as you want it, and then set them all that quiet. Then you can turn it up and down from there.
Yeah, it's a little extra work. It's a little extra work at the front end, but it's worth doing for the amplifiers you're going to be using. I mean, you wouldn't have to set every single amp in there to the same level, but anything you're going to use on a regular basis, I'd want them to be similar.
Yeah.
Especially with me, my hearing being a challenge for me as well. I don't hear a lot of the treble frequencies that people hear. I hear mostly the bass, because my hearing loss is mostly in that higher range. That's why I can often not talk to women. It's not because I'm afraid of the women. It's because the tone of their voice, the note of their voice, is at a dead spot for me.
Yeah.
It's just like they're moving their mouth. And things like this being set up the same from the beginning makes a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm in the same boat when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that I've lost some hearing, definitely, and that's fine. I'm okay about that, but with this thing, it would be nice if they were a little closer. And there are obvious volume discrepancies between patches, so that's my only.
So if Fender and Hollywood producers would listen, then we could have better movie soundtracks and better amplifier levels on our Sims.
Yeah. On our
first world problems, bro.
Yeah. And these things are, when it comes to first world problems, these things are in the neighborhood of $1,500 for the.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
No.
They're cheaper than the DSP one, though. And that one's still under-delivered. Boy, they really screwed the pooch. With that.
Yeah, they're still trying to work out the promises they made.
I think their developers promised more than they could deliver. I honestly do, because their amp sims are fantastic.
Yeah.
But then for these features to not come out in this flagship sim box, for lack of a better term, and they're features that they just should be there.
Yeah. Well, I can't complain too much, having owned this now for, I don't remember, 4 months.
Yeah, 4 or 5 months. Like you got it early summer when you finally got it.
June or July, June maybe, June-ish.
I know you chomped at the bit for weeks. Is it here? Is it here?
Yeah. Well, and I borrowed that one, so I had one in my possession, and I learned to edit in it, which the learning curve for editing this thing is so basic.
Yeah, pretty simple.
It's really easy to learn how to use and to set up and to adjust volumes and adjust your settings if you do understand the effects at all. There's not that all of
Mm.
that. It's just I don't recommend buying one of these if you're like a beginner guitar player. I think that would be you'd be in way too deep and you'd be blaming this because your playing doesn't sound
No, I
I
completely agree. I completely agree.
keep it simple, and if you do get one, keep it simple. Pick an amp and just play through it.
You just need to find what you want to do, in my opinion, because I'm just a casual player. I'm not ever going to be the next, rock star or whatever. Not
Yeah.
only am I too old and fat, but I don't spend enough time practicing.
Yeah. Well,
But for me, it's so much easier to have the digital effects and amplifiers that I do. That I use the neural DSPs. I've got the Tone Master or Mark II. I've got the Rebay, and I've got Nolly.
yeah.
And I almost bought Petrucci, but it's the part of Petrucci that I like is so small compared to the rest of the package.
Right.
It's just not worth the money for me.
Right.
And I have more amplifiers than I can ever use for me.
Yeah.
I could spend the rest of my life literally just going through the 4 that I have, and I call it 4 because the Mark II has different, depending upon what you pick. It's brown face or it's red or whatever. Yeah, so it's distinctly 4 amplifiers.
Yeah.
Just the settings in those alone, it would take me years.
Yep.
There's each one of those amplifiers has at least 20 presets from the sound artist that created the sound, that made the sound famous.
Yeah.
So just that alone, I mean, it's piece after piece. And granted, some of these presets are weird, but I'm not playing in a band. I'm not playing with other people. I'm not even semi-professional anything here. I'm just a guy that likes to play.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a better way to do it than that.
Well, yeah, and I have a bunch of neural DSP plugins.
I know your collection is quite much more extensive than mine.
Right. And it's kind of dumb that I bought as many of them as I did, but it was fun to learn about them, and having all of those tools in my toolbox, if I decide to record something ever again, I've got all that stuff that I can reach for. And
what sound can't you create? Probably none. I mean, if you sat down and dialed it in on whatever amplifiers you chose, you can find it. And with the ability to stack and put different amplifiers together, use an effect from Rebay to go through Nolly and then come out of a Mark II, because you can do that. You can achieve some what would have been impossible to do then as far as sound creation, you can do now with just a few clicks.
Yeah.
And that's why I was sold on the digital right away.
Yeah. Yeah, they have definitely opened the door. This thing, again, the Tone Master Pro has definitely opened the door to doing gigs very simple.
Yeah.
To being able to get your gear in and out of the gig, to being not a cumbersome job.
Yep.
I'm playing, if you play in a cover band, I mean, almost any band in the world, if you want to accomplish their tone, I mean, literally exactly, you're going to be so damn close. And there also lies, I'm covering music from Incubus to killing Rage Against the Machine, to Muse, to Sublime, to Weezer, to, I mean, if I started, I can't even name all the bands. Some of the bands I don't even.
Multiple genres, different, just.
Yeah, George Michael,
Oh, yeah.
And I use 2 different amplifiers. out of
Mm-hmm.
this thing. Those are the only two I need.
Yeah.
So, uh, but I just played through, I don't know how many different amps I played through today. I could do the
About
math, but
12,
it's
I
like,
think, 12 or
yeah,
13, because there were
yeah,
multiple models on a couple of them.
yeah. So, that all adds up in the end because, there might be one of these days where I do want to cover a Queen song. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, I'm going to grab the Vox AC30. Of course.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do everything I can to sound as close to Brian May as I can out of respect,
Sure.
you know?
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. And, another really cool part of the Tone Master Pro that just came out in their new update that's fairly recent, and 1.47 is where they're at now, is the preset or the scene setting in there. And I should probably, it would be wise of me to share this just because I can. Let me do this real quick. Just kind of show you, give you an idea of what. Let me make this full screen, and we'll go to. I need to go to no. I need to go to the no. I need to go to this. There we go. Um, so on my like I've got songs listed over here on the left side of this screen. I've got my main rig, which you can see right here, and then I've got Lonely Boy set up right here. And if we go to my foot switch assign, I've got a boost button, and that's it, right, on Lonely Boy. If I go to 99 red balloons, go to my foot switch assignments, I've got the intro for that. Whoops. Got the intro. So if I step on that button, the intro, the solos in 99 red balloons, the verses, and the very end of that song. Killing in the Name, Wicked Game. Let's see, I've got, we look at our pedal board for Wicked Game. Got the intro, the verse, the chorus, and octave. I mean, I've got each one of these set up for parts in that song. No One Knows, the same thing. Well, no, some of these I haven't done that. I think, pardon me, I've done some scenes in this one. Yeah, the intro, the chorus, the phaser bit. Every one of those turns on multiple different things. If we look at my amp setup, let's see, what are we on? We're on the chorus. But if I go to the intro, watch all this shit that turns on and off. Like my this turned on, that turned off, that turned off, that turned on. I go to the phaser bit, all this shit turns on. If I go to the ending of the song, I mean,
Yeah.
one button can do all of that. So the whole,
That's cool.
The whole tap dancing thing is definitely a thing of the past.
Yeah.
So, another really cool part of having this thing and playing gigs with it, it makes it so simple.
Yeah. Well, and it simplifies everything. We've talked about this in some of our private conversations, about just doing recordings, and being able to get a simple hookup, and now you can record anything you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about microphones. You don't have to worry about. I mean, unless you're trying to get a live feed, that's a whole different ballgame. But if you want a mix from your mixer, you can do that directly from your setup, and that is fantastic. That's so nice.
Yeah, and I still will always recommend to everyone recording guitar, be sure that you take a DI before make sure that you record a clean dry guitar signal in case you just hate the amplifier settings that you had. You want to be able to change those. But I mean, that's been said for so long that yeah, that goes without saying, I guess, ultimately. But I just run an ABY switch here, and so A channel is always going into a clean channel on my audio interface, and the B channel is always going into my Tone Master Pro. So I always sound like I'm playing through a big old amplifier, but my computer is recording at just a completely dry, plugged into the guitar
Right.
signal. So that's or plugged into the audio interface signal. So
I was
that's
watching Shimmer's stream last night. She did one of her pop up singing streams, and I was watching her, and she's talking about she's starting to learn some of the things you've taught me about sound and things like that,
yeah.
and Emp's helping her quite a bit with this. She's running like he is through a mixer, and so he's just paralleling her, and she's making some of those discoveries I made a few years ago from you, like, being able here to sit here and talk to you like this with my microphone over there and not in my face is, that took a while to learn how to do.
Yeah.
And it once achieved, it's great, but there's a big learning curve with this digital stuff. I don't, you can turn knobs and buttons all you want, but you got to learn software handshakes and what programs like what, and now we've got like StreamYard and EVMux are kind of competing, and they're very similar platforms. But my sound settings, if I go on an EVMux stream, I have to completely change my sound settings for my microphone and my guitar,
Right.
as opposed to StreamYard.
Yeah.
Or if I do a broadcast on my own through OBS, that's yet again a third set. Nothing else. These are just my levels that I've had to learn. That's just one little tiny part of us, one simple thing. And people like you doing these demos and talking like this about these things, it helps so much.
Yeah.
Even some of the stuff you've done uh, after the fact, so to speak, has reinforced
Yeah.
what you've taught me earlier on, and helped me to be able to overcome this. Because I'm telling you, it's been a long road to get here, years. But it's nice to be able to sit here and relax and talk like I don't feel like I need to scream at my microphone. I know that you're not hearing my coffee maker go off or the pick clicks from my guitar when I'm playing, whatever. But that took a minute to figure out how to make all that stuff work together. And guys like you doing demos like this that pull into the inner workings so that you're not afraid to click on, what does that number down there mean? It's, oh, Marshall did that. That's my bass amp level. Okay, I could bring that up there. Things like that. So a long-winded way to say thank you for your knowledge and how you share, because it's made a difference in my life. So
Well, I appreciate that, man. I'm happy to help, and I think I've helped a lot of people, a lot more people than people know. But I'm not looking for any kind of reward for it. It's just good enough to be able to see people being able to do what you're doing on your own, and you learn a few of these things, and then you do your own things with some of the stuff that you've learned, but you add your own little.
Oh yeah, you got me some settings all
trinkets.
done in Reaper that were great, and then I fucked with them because I'd wanted them to sound different.
Right. Right, and you're not listening to them through my set of headphones.
No, that probably the biggest game changer you worked me through was adding in the mix for me to listen to me and my guitar here.
Yep.
Game changer. Absolute game changer. Anybody if you're not listening to your stuff in a personal mix, learn how to do it. It's an absolute game changer. You know how you sound, and you sound like you think. When I sing, if I can't hear my vocal, I can't sing. I don't know where I'm at. That muscle memory doesn't quite work because it's not that kind of a muscle.
Well, we had on that note, we have at our gigs we have an in-ear monitor system that our singer and our drummer use, and they have their own individual mixes, but our singer is running his vocal through my Tone Master Pro pedal that I was demoing and stuff tonight. Well, one of the patches, I failed to program the output of his voice that was going into it out to. So I stepped on that pedal to do that song, and I won't mention the name of the song. He was like, Marshall, I just lost my IEMs. He had to tap me on the shoulder. It's like, hey, I can't hear myself. And I was like, oh shit, okay. And I was like, okay, what can it be? So, and in a moment, I reached down, made the adjustment on my pedal, boom, oh, there it is. I got thank you. And I realized, oops, I had made that mistake and hadn't corrected it, nor had we
Right.
played the song yet. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's all those little things that you got to remember. But again, having a mix, I always hear my microphone in my headphones. I never not hear my microphone in my headphones. But
oh yeah, when I
different.
mute mine, the rare time I mute mine for my mix in my headphone, it's weird.
Yeah.
Suddenly I feel like I'm not, like I need to talk louder or something.
Yeah.
It's really weird. But yeah, that's an absolute game changer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we should probably shut this thing down tonight.
Yeah, I should probably get some food. I haven't eaten today, so because
Yeah,
packing.
I'm gonna throw some stuff in the oven, and I got a nice where did I get it? Tenderloin.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, I got to go up to Safeway and line their pockets for a minute. I was at my friend's for a week over the Christmas thing, so I haven't done any shopping. I need to stock up. Cereal, milk. Well, I got oatmeal.
Right. I got plenty of oatmeal. Yeah, I stocked up today before I got going. I got going pretty early today, so I went grocery shopping.
I got into an all-nighter last night packing stuff and getting things in boxes, and my roommate has graciously made an area in the living room where I can stage everything so I don't have to try and shuffle boxes in here constantly. Oh, wait, I gotta say, speaking of boxes, I want to take this opportunity. Jade Star, if you're lurking out there, I know you do. If you're out there, the reason I have small boxes and so many of them is because I'm not manly enough to pick up a big box. I gotta pick up a small box. If I make them too heavy, I can't move them.
And wasn't it
She's been going off about this for like a week ever since she saw my first round of boxes.
Well, and today I was just sharing with you. I was like, damn, I wish I could be there to help you move.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, throw whatever you want in any fucking box you got. I'll pick it up. I don't give a shit.
Right.
I'm limber and young and I'm taking care of myself,
My son's gonna try and make it over with my with his son, my grandson, and then I'll have the other two gimps, Chuck and Angela. They're as broken as I am right now, but we can do some things, and then their son is also gonna be helping. So I'll have all hands on deck, and you know what? I can move out. I got legs. If I have to, I'll walk this 40 yards, man. I'll just walk it over one piece at a time, like Johnny Cash. I got it one piece at a time. Yeah, that's,
Nice. Yeah, I wish I could be there to help, man. But
oh man, you've done so much already to help. So thank you for that. And there's no good deed goes unpunished. We'll figure something out.
Right. Well, we may have to hang out together again one of these days. And
I know I'm jonesing for it.
Because now I can come crash at your place, and I got a couch to sleep on at least.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So
we could snuggle, but I don't know if that's very politically correct.
Hey, it's nobody's fucking business what goes
on
and behind closed doors, right? Nobody's fucking business.
Oh, right on. Hey, man, I appreciate the invite to this. This has been a great time.
I appreciate you coming and hanging, and your input was very helpful today. So, and we ended up playing through 6 digits worth of guitar amps, man.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Kind of fun.
All right, brother. Thank you. Take care. Thank you, everyone in chat. Hang in there and be good.